Hello. I hope you guys are having a fantastic long weekend. I just want to say thank you to all of you that have now been subscribers because I have made a very important threshold of making 100,000 subscribers, which I heard that was like only like 3% of YouTubers ever make it to that part. So I'm pretty excited about it. I know we're going to talk about the housing market, but I have a special gift for the people that are here in the stream right now. So here's the deal. So everybody knows I drink a lot of tea out of these humongous cups, and I actually have cups. So I have these cups, and throughout the stream, I'm going to be giving away these cups. This is like my little branding thing, Your Real Estate Whisperer, because you know how I ended all my videos with that, Your Real Estate Whisperer. And I mean, how cool was this that it happened over a holiday weekend? And one person, I'm going to send them, so, like you guys remember last week when my husband had given me this gigantic cup because it's so ridiculous. One person on this stream will win one of these cups. Now, the only rule is that you have to live in the United States. That's it. Other than that, you're getting a cup. So I'll have my guest pick out a random person. I do want to share a really cool story with you. So on this live stream, I always say that if you can't find a real estate agent, I will happily find you one in the area. And I ended up finding somebody, a real estate agent in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They were very happy. They ended up getting a house. They found the perfect house, and they gave her these earrings. But these earrings, she doesn't have pierced ears. So they said, well, can you give them to Kristina? So she said, yeah. So I ended up getting the earrings today. So thank you, Rebecca, and the clients that sent me these. I'm pretty excited about that. And then I got a phone call yesterday. And from one of my previous videos, I had talked about how people are getting homes, and that if you don't want to fight against investors and you want a more fair bidding chance, you can go on HUDhomestore.com and they'll take your offer before they ever take any kind of investor's offer. So this guy actually watched my video on Monday. He was like, how could it hurt? And he won the house. He won the house at a discount. So he was like, I can't believe it was like, I got it for $15,000 less than the actual asking price. So that was that. I've had such a great week because there's been so many nice things that have happened. So anyways, I wanted to let you know that we do have an agent from California. His name's Dan Packa. And yes, it's Parker, but I'm going to say Packa because it sounds funnier. And that's my New England thing, like Packa. That's what we would say, Packa. And I know that we have a lot of people in the chat. Don't forget, as you pop in, make sure you give me the little thumbs up. And Dan is from California. We're going to be answering your questions throughout the stream. There is one article that I want to talk to you guys about because I just found it. I always find these articles pretty funny when it comes to real estate. And we're going to get Dan's opinion about it as well. Hello, Mr. Packa. Hi. Everybody say hi to Dan. Dan Packa.
Hello. And congratulations, Kristina. So excited for you. A lot of hard work paying off. You're
yes.
awesome.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you coming in. So Dan, tell everybody about yourself a little bit and where you're at and what you do.
Sure. So I am in sunny San Diego in Southern California, and I'm a real estate agent. I've been a real estate agent for about 4 years now. And I got into this whole YouTube thing about a little over a year ago. And the whole way, Kristina's been helping me out. So my channel is all about moving to San Diego. I also do a lot of content on moving to California and housing market related topics. And I just have a lot of fun. So happy to be here.
Yeah. And he also runs a podcast with another real estate agent in his area. He's actually had me on there. And if you don't notice Dan, if you don't recognize him, he's the face of my thumbnail. I took his face and put it on the thumbnail. Everybody's saying hi to you, Dan. Everybody's saying hi to you. Hello. So how my stream works, Dan, is that throughout the stream, people will ask questions. And let's see, we're going to put the little banner up here. We got a little feedback going there. Do you have any headphones you can put in?
Alumni. All right.
Let's see. Here, put your question. See, they'll put the word question there. I have my husband here to do a little moderating, and he always puts up these um, banners and stuff. Do you have any earphones that you could put in? Because I'm catching my own voice when I'm talking to you.
Is this better?
Let me talk. Yeah, much better. You know, it's weird when you're trying to talk and then you hear yourself back. You're like, I can't talk.
For
My
sure.
ADD will not allow that. Oh, look, we got some nice people saying hi. I'm not buying. Here's another one. I'm not buying until next summer. The housing market is ridiculous right now. All right, so let me show you this article I'm gonna pull up because you're not the only one. Okay. We're going to do a little share.
Burnout is a real thing right now. There's no question.
Yeah. I miss Eddie not being here to pull these up because I hate the pause. It's so uncomfortable. All right. It says, let me pull this. We pulled the headline down. It says why you shouldn't wait out the wild housing market. So the headline, it goes on and on and on of all the things that we've spoken about. You have half the houses on the market right now than you normally would. There isn't as many houses being built right now. It talks about of course, low inventory because of the building and because of the high cost of building materials. It talks about how this isn't anything like the 2007 housing bubble in the past. And they don't expect the prices to drop anytime soon. Houses that were like, I'm sure in California, were they like 500,000 a year ago, and now they're like almost $1 million now.
So median home in San Diego County last year was $660,000, and now it is $825,000.
The median price here was one.
That's a detached property, not
right. Our median price was about 210, and now it's about 285.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. I live in a really small, if people don't know, I live in a very small Hoboken town, and it doesn't matter what market you're in. They're all like this. Every single housing market even the smallest of towns. And that's where I'm most concerned about, honest to God, is those areas that have gone up, those small areas that are too far out from the major cities, too far from the jobs. I think they're like, once this kind of flattens out, I think they're going to have the hardest time recovering, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, one thing I'm curious, does it touch on inflation at all? Because I also feel like that's a major factor that's happening right now that's not really being talked about that much. The amount of money that's been printed the last year is just absolutely crazy.
And investors.
Yeah.
Investors are killing us. Like big corporations like Blackstone and stuff, they're killing us. They're scooping up houses before they're even built.
Mm-hmm.
I want to address one of my longtime subscribers. I'm not giving away Eddie's cup. I'm giving away a cup exactly like the one that Eddie gave me. I'm not giving away Eddie's cup. I'm going to give one out that's exactly like this. I'm going to have it sent to somebody's home.
So am I eligible for that cup? Because that's
no. Nope. No stinking realtors. No. You can buy your own damn cup.
Fair enough. I agree. I think it's a challenge everywhere right now, but once things start to turn around, I think you and I both agree that there's not going to be a market crash next year.
Not in the next 12 months. No way.
So,
but can't happen.
Going to be a point where prices are going to start to flatline, maybe come down a little bit at some point. And how is that going to be spread throughout the U.S. is going to be interesting because it's going to be very different for each, individual area.
Yeah, I know. And I think of course, markets like Orlando and, big cities, they're going to be fine. Right at the beginning of the pandemic, some of the major cities were having a big problem with rental units, people vacating rental units, and they're like, who are going to get in there? And then there was the moratorium of rent. Was it moratorium? Is that the word? Yeah, that's the word.
For evictions.
For evictions and everything. That they thought it was going to be a lot worse than it really ended up being. They kind of made a big deal, a stink about that more than it turned out to be a problem. I don't know how it is in California, but it isn't that way here. I mean, we haven't had a big problem with people just not paying their rent. Yeah. But, and then it all came back, especially like even in places in New York, like at the beginning, of course, it was terrible. There was people that are just leaving the city. And then as soon as like there was a semblance of, okay, this is how it's going to be, then it just went crazy. I talked to a lot of real estate agents out that work in the city itself, and they're like, we are so busy. There's not a problem with rentals.
Yeah.
So does anybody have, I'm trying to see, this is why I need a co-host, someone that can pull up the questions. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull one up here.
Making it difficult for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting in San Diego because we're getting a lot of people from the Bay Area, from San Francisco, from New York, from these big cities where they can, people that can work remote are coming to San Diego right now.
Yep. Vegan Meow says, Kristina and Dan, are you guys seeing any increases in inventory since the mask mandates have been removed in some states? No. No. That surprised me a little bit. I thought as more people felt more comfortable with people coming into their home, we would have an increase in inventory. I just thought for sure people would put their house on the market. The problem is that people that were considering putting their house on the market, they don't know where they're going to go. And a lot of people are like, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't want to be stuck, sold my house, and then I have nowhere to go, or I can't find anything, or I have to settle on a house because I didn't get what I wanted. So I think that's where the shape that we're in right now.
Yeah, I can say like anecdotally, I've had more requests for people considering selling their house and potentially moving out of state because we're in California. They can cash out on this crazy equity that they built in this last couple of years, buy a house somewhere else, and have some more flexibility, have some money in the bank. But it hasn't really started happening yet. I think for me right now in my area, there's a little bit less buyers on the market, so there's a little bit less demand. But the demand that's out there is still like going really, really high over asking, so it makes it really difficult. And I'm hoping that the next step is we're going to start to see inventory start to increase, but it hasn't started happening yet.
Yeah, I did get one question that I think is funny. I love big coffee in big cups. I like
That's
big
not a
cups
question.
I know, but I like big cups, and I cannot lie. There was a question here, though. Here we go. Question: pending home sales and mortgages applications are down in April. Do you think this is start of a downward trend or not? Your opinion, Dan?
So the last statistic I saw is that mortgage applications are down 4% last week versus the previous week. And
correct.
I mean, week by week, that's not like a crazy amount. I think that we will start to see it go down again, especially in my area, because just a starter single family home is upwards of $800,000 in San Diego right now, which is just out of reach for a lot of people. So especially a lot of people that live here have been saving for a long time to buy a house. So I definitely think we're going to see that start to take place. Yeah.
I just think that whenever you look at these things week by week, I don't think it's a good way to judge. I think you have to literally look at, I think 60 days and to really decide if this is an actual trend that's happening. One week is like, let's just say this week is because most people are like, I'm going to go on vacation. I don't want to deal with it right now. I'm not filling out the paperwork. I'll do it after I come back from vacation. It could be as simple as that, the reason why. I know my mortgage people are telling me they're still doing refis like nobody's business. I'm refiing a few rental properties. So, like everything's good, like I just don't see with a lot of inventory that it's going to happen anytime soon. But if you're on the fence about refinancing before the interest rates go up, I would do it. That's just my personal opinion. Oh, look, one of our favorite Texas people.
Jeremy Knight.
Yeah, Jeremy Knight. He says, why are they moving to Texas and finding it isn't cheap? A lot of laughs. So if anybody doesn't know, Jeremy Knight is in Austin, Texas, and his market went from a pretty affordable area to it's like mini California right now.
Good luck.
Good luck. People are offering way over. All right, here we go. Question: can Parker's raise his microphone volume? It's hard to hear him. Pack it, raise it. Oh, here we go. Thoughts on 3D printed homes. I have some while Mr. Pack works on his microphone. You should, like, honestly, I'm not even going to lie. Mr. Parker, before he got on here, his camera looks like, he literally looks like 1 pixel. It's just,
Yeah.
he's like, oh no, I'm like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. All right. So back to the 3D printed homes. Yes, I have an opinion about them. I think that they're a fantastic idea, but there's a big but. Okay, so whenever you print something, you put it in the printer, right? And it goes to the printer, it has to remain perfectly level for the lines to be even. If that paper is slightly off just a little bit, then the whole print is messed up. This is very true of the same thing with the machines that print the homes. You have to make sure that that machine stays level the entire time. The second thing is, when you're printing a 3D printed home, all that wiring and everything else is in the walls. So at any time you decide that you want to change out lighting or add chandeliers and everything else, who's going to be knocking down a wall to get to the wiring or the box or whatever, or cutting into your concrete wall to get a new box in? I mean, it's a possibility. I think it has some time to go. We have to think about that a little bit more. Now, if they just printed the outside and then maybe like put drywall up against it, so that way it would be easy to get to electrical outlets, then yes, there's a possibility of that. But you still are going to have to wait to make sure that is completely level as it prints, because that's an actual issue. But it is a lot less expensive because it isn't quite concrete. It's like a concrete foamy. It's a secret mixture. They're not going to tell us what it is.
How's my voice level now? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Have you done anything with 3D printed homes? I know that they have a 3D printed home out there in California. They're starting a whole neighborhood. Did you know that?
No, where's that at? I know nothing about 3D printed homes. I know about as much about 3D printed homes as I know about oversized coffee mugs, which is this much.
It's still low, they're saying. I can hear you. I don't know what you're doing. Dan, what is your problem?
Is this better?
I don't think you're even talking in that microphone. I don't think it's connected. So go look.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah, go in the cam mic settings and make sure your microphone is set to it, because you don't sound normal. All right, here we go. Vegan Meow says, if interest rates.
Here we go. How's this?
A million times better. Holy cow. Wow. Wow. That is like so much better.
I haven't been using my microphone this whole time. My computer's just messing with me today.
I know. It's because it's the 100,000. All right. Vegan Meow says, if interest rates increase this year, what do you think they will be going into the fall of this year?
You want me to start that?
Yeah, because I have an opinion, but I want to hear yours first.
If interest rates are increased this year, what do you think will be going into? So, what is going to happen with the housing market if interest rates go up? Is that the question?
Well, what do you think? What do you think the interest rates will be, first of all, and secondly of all, what do you think that will do the housing market heading into the fall?
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a great question. I really don't know what's going to happen, but it doesn't sound like they're going to go up too much by the end of the year. But that's kind of what we need. And I think it's kind of a misnomer. A lot of people are out there saying, hey, these are two real estate agents. They're so happy that the market is the way that it is. And no,
I'm not. I freaking hate it. I tell people all the time I hate it.
And I work with mostly buyers, and trying to get houses for them just sucks. I genuinely enjoy helping people, and it's really, really hard right now. So I would love for things to get a little bit easier.
More normal. I mean, I love fighting for a good deal, but you can't even fight for a good deal. I love representing up for a buyer and trying to get them a good, fair deal, and everybody's happy at the end of the day. There is no fair anymore. It's like nobody's getting a deal except for my client, except for that person that was listening and got on HUDHomestore.com, bought a foreclosure for $15,000 less.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know. But my opinion is that I do see the interest rates increasing. They can't keep them this low. It's impossible. They just can't keep them this low. Now, if they decide to raise them after the summer, will that make the housing market crazier, and or will it add more inventory? Here's the thing, that if anytime there's been an incremental change of the interest rates where they've gone up just slightly, in most cases, it makes people not want to buy. But in this specific market, people freak out even more. And then they go out and they're like, I'll buy whatever, like every time that they've even had one, just a little sketchy higher in the interest rates, people went crazy again and they were buying more houses. And the thing is that you're not competing with just people that are trying to buy a house from California or whatever, that have cash in their pockets. You're also fighting against people that are investors, that have much deeper pockets, that represent a bunch of different investments, so they can pool that money together. So they're buying several homes at a time. And it's becoming a lot more difficult throughout the country. It isn't just California. It isn't just Washington. It isn't just New Orleans. I mean, it's everywhere.
I think that's like one piece of the puzzle that we need. There's no like one thing that's going to fix this market unless we have more inventory. But that's one of the pieces that could develop towards a more neutral market. That's the way I see it. Yeah,
and there isn't one reason why the market looks the way it does either. Everybody's like, oh, it's because of lumber. Well, it isn't just lumber. It's everything, that all the components in the house, including the appliances. I mean, like everything costs more. And there was these couples, I had it on last week. There was several couples in Texas that had put in a purchase agreement for a home in California, and in Texas, and they negotiated a price. And then as it got closer to the date of when it was framed and everything, they're like, well, here's the thing, it's going to cost you $100,000 more. And they were like, we can't afford that. We already made this price. So I know it's common in California to renegotiate before the closing. That is new to the rest of us here in the country. And so them saying, we're not going to go ahead and, we're not going to go ahead and sell it to you anymore at that price because it costs too much. And so the builders are winning.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Yep.
Yeah. We have a new construction in San Diego. It's the one that everyone's looking forward to. They're building 200 homes this year, and there's a wait list of 14,000 people for those 200 homes.
Like some of the open houses I've seen, they're literally like, they're lined up just waiting to go inside. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
My partner and I make $50,000 a year. And in the past year, Orlando, it has gotten so expensive to buy something worth it. It's ridiculous. Manny, I'm not joking. I used to live in Orlando, and the Orlando market is kind of kooky. So if you go to those outside areas like Altamont Springs, Castleberry, those are going to come back. Like as expensive as they are now, they will come back. It will not maintain this high level. And I knew it back in 2007 when they went up this high. I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way that this little Hoboken town is going to keep this value. And I was right. And it won't do it again. So if you're looking in that Orlando area, check out in Seminole County, look out there, and just keep an eye on the market, because Florida is one of those places that once the prices go down, they start sinking like a rock. People panic. They panic. They panic buy, and then they panic sell.
There's a lot of people moving to Orlando right now, but it also, at least from what I hear, sounds like they're actually building a lot out there compared to a lot of other places. There's a lot of new construction coming out, which is going to help.
Well, I will say, as much as I was not a big fan of Florida, they really do plan ahead for infrastructure, and they've got those roads planned out. And every time there's a like a new area that's up and coming, sure enough, they're adding more to the freeways and toll roads and stuff. So, all right, Lawnmower, longtime subscriber, says, I saw a video this morning. The entire structure or major lifts of the structure are done at the factory and transported on site. Are you talking about for 3D printed homes? They have to print them on site because it would be too heavy for transportation. Or are you talking about the walls? Sounds like you're talking about a modular construction.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's scroll down. Let's scroll down. Why does Dan Parker like Austin over San Diego?
All right, so I don't know if you even know this, Kristina. You know that Jeremy Knight is from San Diego?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's where he's from originally. And so I like to harass him about how much better the Mexican food is in San Diego than it is in Texas. And he knows it's true.
Oh, I don't believe that for a minute. I've been to Texas, and the Mexican food in Texas, those are the best restaurants ever. All right. PR says, question, why can't there be a new law stopping corporations or businesses from purchasing homes for at least 2 years until this gets worked out, giving the common person the chance to purchase? I agree with you 150%. Like, I can't even agree with you anymore. The thing is that we as a community have to go to these planning city developers and tell them, look, we can't allow that big corporations to buy out whole neighborhoods. They, only let's say 15% of the neighborhood to be bought out by LLCs. The rest of them have to be single family dwellings. We as a community have to do that and address that to them and tell them exactly what's going on, because this planning zoning, they're just like, does it look right? Does it meet all the qualifications? Do we have enough? Can the roads handle how many people are going to be moving in and out on this particular road? Do we have enough room in the schools? All right, approved. That's what they do. They don't put any other thought into it. So it's up to us to do that. What do you have to say, Dan?
Yeah, I agree. It just would be hard with the government to say, yeah, these people can purchase home, these types of businesses or whatever cannot. It would be a hard thing to do. I think one thing that you could think about is, limit Airbnb rentals, because that is really big out here. So, people purchasing properties to rent them out as Airbnb is taking away property that people can live in, that actually live in that area. So it's going to raise the price for single family homes. So that is something that, it's really more localized. I don't know on a federal level that anything's ever going to happen there, but on a local level, I know they've tried to pass laws to, prevent Airbnb rentals to a certain degree.
Right. They do that in New Orleans because they were building all these condos and they were turning them into Airbnbs. And then the hotel industry was like, absolutely not. You're going to crush our business. And this is what we've been here for eons. It's not fair that these people can do that. So they put a limitation to that. But there's no doubt that you can limit how many corporations can buy in a neighborhood. There's no doubt, you can definitely do that. It's in the covenants and bylaws and a lot of these, homeowners associations as
for the CCNRs. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's true.
It's something that can definitely be done. It's just, who knows if whose palms are getting greased,
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, call zoning boards to mandate all small percentages of homes can be used as rentals. See, Trail Reeves knows.
I like it.
We're on the same page. With the housing prices jumping 20 to 25% a year, how can normal people ever buy with their salaries that are stagnant? Do you want to add anything to that?
Oh man. Yeah, that's a good question. And I wish I had a solution to it. It's, especially where I'm at, it's tough seeing my friends decide that they're going to leave San Diego because they'll never be able to afford a house here when they have good jobs and are making good money. I'm lucky that my wife and I purchased our house in 2015. And, now we have an opportunity that if we ever wanted another house that's a little bit more expensive, we can kind of, use this as leverage on another property. But I don't know. It's really tough right now.
Foreclosures do exist. Yeah. They're still out there. So I would suggest, Michael, what I would do, like I said at the beginning of the live stream, is I want you to check out HUDhomestore.com, HUDhomestore.com. And what they have there is homes that are for sale. They're foreclosures. They're going to need a little TLC, a little paint, little lipstick on the pig, they like to call it. But the thing is you're not going to be fighting against investors, because anytime a new house comes on the market, they withhold it from investors for like 20 days. So they're only accepting offers from just the average person that's trying to buy the house. and you can still get a deal that way. They have a window. You can, this is the asking price. We're not going to accept anything lower than this. The person I spoke to the other day on the telephone, he went in the middle. He was he didn't do asking price, but he didn't do the lowest. He did in the middle, and he won it. So
That's
always, always check it. Check it. I mean, if you're having a problem finding a house, like most people won't take that extra effort to look on headhomestore.com, but it definitely exists. Definitely exists. So here we go. Question. I sold in 3 days at $5,000 above asking. Some bids had buyer's assistance. The mortgage closing costs, which the seller needs to refund at settlement. I avoided them because it sounds fishy. Is buyer assistance bad? No. Go ahead to explain it, Mr. Pack.
So she's saying that they're asking for credit from the sellers for closing costs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just allows, at least in a normal market before these last 12 months, I utilize that all the time for buyers that, a lot of times they didn't want to completely wipe out their bank account to purchase a house. They want a little bit of money in the bank to make sure if anything breaks that they can handle that. And so that's a way to do it, is by removing some of the money out of pocket that they would need to close on the house. They would increase the price by $5,000 and then ask for $5,000 in credit. So it just benefits the buyer at the end of the day.
Right, because they, especially if it's a first-time home buyer, their closing costs tends to be a little bit higher, because so they're trying to either buy down a percentage point so they have a less expensive mortgage, or they have other things that are making their closing costs high. So in order to cover those costs, they're asking the seller, hey, we're just going to increase this price just scotch, just a bit, so we can cover these costs, and because they have all these other costs too. You've got your inspections and you got your appraisals and all this other stuff. So so it doesn't hurt so bad to buy a house. They're asking for that little bit of assistance. It's very common. It is, except for in this specific market. Yeah. I haven't even seen anybody ask for closing costs in almost 2 years now. But no, it's not fishy. That is a normal, it's a normal for someone to ask for closing costs, buyers.
Yep.
Just not normal in this market.
Yep.
Let's see. Honk Honkles. I just had to click on his name because I thought it was so funny. I thought millions and millions got laid off last year. I thought there are millions and millions on unemployment. Who's buying all these houses? Honk Honkles. So let me let me touch base on this. So people working lower wage jobs are the ones that were most affected by this pandemic. Honest to God, they were the worst. They hit the worst. They are the ones that's why California is having the hardest time finding employment right now. It's not that people are collecting unemployment. They actually left. They literally was I can't afford the rent here. It's too expensive to live here. I'm going back home. And a lot of them went back to live with family and everything else. So yes, there are a lot of people that were unemployed, and were a lot of people that took the forbearance. A lot of people took the forbearance on their mortgage just because they could. They were you know what? To have a couple months off my mortgage and stick it to the end of the loan, whatever. So they took it just because they could. And every single day, more and more people are coming off the forbearance. I personally thought we were going to see a wave of foreclosures like we'd never seen before. But they kept increasing how long you could be on forbearance. Every time the Congress got together and did another stimulus package, they were like, yep, forbearance for another 6 months. Yep, forbearance for another 6 months. So the wave of foreclosures that would have probably shown up right now this summer doesn't exist because of the forbearance. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Do you have any opinion about this, Dan? Dan Paca?
No, I completely agree. I think there's more people went on forbearance just because they saw it as like a tax break, basically. And now, especially in my area, home prices went up $25,000 last month. So if someone was on forbearance for a year, and they were, they had back pay, all they have to do is sell their house and they could make all that money back. They're not going to go into foreclosure. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yep.
And the other thing I'll mention too is you have to also remember the lack of inventory is really important. There's 2,000 homes available for sale in San Diego, and for a neutral market, we need 15,000 homes. So there's plenty of people that can afford those 2,000 homes. If we had the normal inventory, then it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be as much of an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Will you still invest to buy a rental at this time, hold, or just wait, or just do it? Depends on your area. Like if
Yeah.
in my specific area, if there was a rental available, I would buy one in a heartbeat. But we don't have a lot of rentals to begin with. We never did. And we have a lot of people that live and work at the plants here. Some of them only are seasonal workers. So they want like a 6-month or 9-month lease. If I could have like 5 1 to 2 bedroom little houses. Oh, that's the dream. That's the dream. But I would suggest talking to a real estate professional in your area.
Yeah.
And seeing what your market is, and they can give you like a baseline of your return on investment for the amount the houses are going for.
Yeah, I would be weary of over leveraging your rentals right now, but I think there definitely are areas that it could be very effective.
Yeah. Checked home store. There's nothing in my area. Keep checking. Check every single day. Like get yourself on the alerts. I think they even have a alert. Like you make an account so you get alerts. Check every single day because you never know. And whenever something comes on the market, like I said, you have time. So for instance, even if it went on the market and you couldn't see it for 2 days, they're not even going to take offers for the first 5 days. So they give a chance to the people to even look at it. And then you can turn in your offer after those 5 days. And that's when they review them all. So don't get discouraged. All right. Are 203K rehab loans suspended? A loan officer told me they were, but HUD Home accepts 203K loans. That would depend on your state. They're not suspended here. We just had a flood. You could do a 203K loan here. Can you do them in your area?
I think so. It's not utilized very much by the people that I work with. So I honestly don't know, but I think so.
Okay. It's just like, it's like a rehab loan.
Yeah.
So the house already exists and they just rehab it using that specific loan. It's almost like a new construction loan because you have like so many draws. Here we go.
I know it's really hard to qualify, at least here. I don't know if it's different in other areas.
Oh, here it is. Investors can buy HUD homes as long as they're other family members. Long story, they find a way around it. So I have a client who's an investor, and he will buy homes on HUD Home Store using other family people's names. But again, if you've done enough of those, HUD actually knows who you are. So
that's interesting.
I wouldn't try to get too sneaky with that. Question: after buying land, how does one buy air via your last video? Okay. So he's talking about air rights.
Sure.
So when you have them in California?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, explain what air rights are in your area.
I mean, I don't know all the long and short of it, but you own the property or the air straight above your property. I don't really know all the ins and outs of it, to be honest.
Okay, so in some cities and some areas, you only can own X amount of air above your property, just like Dan was saying, because at some point somebody could fly something over there. They could put telephone lines, not telephone lines. Someone uses a telephone, but electrical lines, anything above that space. They can't build below your air rights. So that way you can have your own space that nobody's going to try to build over you. Right. And it's the same vice versa. You can't like build a skyscraper on your little plot because there's only so high you can go. But that's in every deed and title, and you'll talk to your title company on who owns and how much air rights you actually have. It's going to be more prevalent in areas that are growing exponentially and in big cities like New York and, like LA, those big cities.
San Francisco, the densely populated areas.
Yeah. Have you ever, I haven't had to deal with air rights, but I know that's a thing because there's like, you've seen those old stories of like everybody wanted to move and the company had bought out the whole area, but this one little couple wasn't going to sell their house.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole building was built around their house. But because they had air rights, the building had to build like an arch over it. They couldn't they were going to build it all the way to the rooftop, but they couldn't because they had X amount of air rights. So they had to build that bridge over to the building. It was funny.
Yeah, such a rare scenario that you would ever have to really worry about that, but it's really interesting.
Yes. All right, here we go. Vegan says, are HUD homes always in need of a remodel, restoration, or do they take longer for closing? Have you ever closed a HUD home?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, I'll answer this. Dan, you're not a lot of help today.
I know. Geez, I'm sorry. Things are different here in California, Kristina.
Oh, the land of fruity people. They're all crazy in California. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are HUD homes always in need of a remodel restoration? Does it take longer for closing? They can take longer for closing, but not by a lot, just because they want to make sure all the title work's done. They have their own title work company. But if you want to have your title company look over their title work, it can take a few more days. You're going to have to verify your income a few times. There's a few more papers. There's an extra contract. It's like a little bit, instead of, let's just say 45 days, let's just say it takes about 55 days. It's not anything major. They're just as typical as any other closing, and they'll work with you too. So if you need an extension because of something that's happening on the loan side, they'll give you an extra 30 days as well. They're like, that's fine. Because they want you to have the house. They want it off their books, and they want you to have the house. Okay, here we go. So are we going to see properties come down? When should we buy? What's your opinion, Dan? Dan Packer?
I mean, I think if you can buy now, then buy. Just know that only purchase something if you know you're going to live in it for at least 4 or 5 years at this point. You never know.
I say 5 to 7. 5 to 7 years. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the prices aren't coming down anytime soon in San Diego. I think it's going to start slowing down and maybe like a little dip. But I think by the time it starts to come down a little bit, it's still going to be far above what it is right now.
It's going to be a flattening. Like, remember when we were flattening the curve? That's right now we need to flatten the curve.
Sure do.
And we're not doing the right mitigation for housing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible. I freaking hate it so much. Like, everybody's like, oh, I bet you're just so happy right now.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's the absolute worst. And I'm going to tell you something that most people don't know. At one point, there were like 1 million houses across the entire country that was for sale. And I think there's like 2.5 real estate agents across the entire country. So that means for every house, there's 2 agents that are trying to get in, 2.1 agents trying to get in to sell it,
In San Diego, there's 2,000 homes available and 20,000 real estate agents.
I bet y'all are like I bet it's getting pretty bad. It's just not fun.
It's crazy. Most real estate agents in San Diego have not closed a sale this year. Lucky to not be in that most category, but
they should get YouTube channels.
Yeah, they sure should. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go back to this really quick. You also can use your 203K loan if it's in really bad shape, if it's a house that's kind of dilapidated and it's on a HUD home store. Generally, they're not going to have those because they have to. They approve them because they want like VA and FHA approval on those houses. But if it's in really bad shape, they will allow you to do it for a 203K loan. So just FYI. The only reason I know that is because we had a flood here in 2016, and that was a possibility for them to get rid of some of these houses that had been foreclosed on through HUD. Question. The news is all about home price sales. What's happening with the lots and raw land? Do you deal with a lot of raw land?
I don't, but I was talking to this company called Buildable the other day, and they basically help you from every step of the way, from locating raw land to building on it and developing your home. And they basically said that there's been an increase in land for sale in San Diego County, and on average, the average home is selling in, I think 14 days, but the average raw land is selling in like 90 days. So there's definitely opportunity for raw land out here. It's really hard to build in California. There's a lot of regulations, a lot of red tape.
Well, that is the one thing I can honestly say, and that's why I've been talking about land more often, because there is more of an opportunity to build what you want to build by getting raw land. And they're a little bit more negotiable because they know that when you have raw land, it's going to take a little bit more work. And those tend to stay on the market. We don't have them like at where I live. We don't have raw land flying off the market. Now, if it's a good piece of property, a good acre, and it's close, closer to Baton Rouge, it may, instead of it being on the market for 120 days, like you said, it'd be about 90 days. But they tend to stay on the market. It isn't like a house. People have to use their imagination and and design a house and like see if this is something they're going to do, because it's more work. It tends to stay on the market a little bit longer, but land is still selling much faster than it has ever sold before. I mean, if you have a nice lot, it's going to sell. There's no doubt about it. It's not going to sit on the market for 2 to 3 years like it used to. It may sit on the market for 120 days to a couple months, but as long as it's priced right, just like anything, you're going to be able to sell your piece of land.
Yep.
We had our mineral lease under our land in Texas. If you made money on them, we got a cut. That's true in Louisiana as too. You can, you'll see in some people's yards, like the drills, just one drill, because they own the mineral rights and they get a little cut of it. Do air rights affect drones? No, they do not. Your drone actually has like this little machine inside it that tells you like you can't fly here. There's like a no-fly zone, and it will literally just land. But the air rights have nothing to do with the drones. They will in the future, I bet.
Yeah.
Do you have a drone?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What kind you got?
DJI Mavic Platinum.
I have the DJI Mavic Pro Zoom.
Oh, very nice.
I know, right? Don't ask me how many times I've flown it. Not very often. All right. Let's see. Question. Can a lender foreclose during a pandemic? I'm in California. Ooh, that's a good question for you because I have no idea.
Can a lender foreclose during a pandemic? I am in California. I'm pretty sure the date is June 15, where
30th.
June 30th. Thank you. Okay. So June 30th, but every city has some cities have extended that. Like the city of San Diego has extended that for 2 months. So we'll see if federally it gets extended. I haven't heard anything about that, but just know specifically where you're at, look into the rules and regulations in your area. So yeah, it's 2 months past that for city of San Diego.
Emily says, how's the process to buy a foreclosure? It's no different than buying a regular house. You just have more papers to sign. You have the regular state purchase agreement, which you would fill out. And then you would have the foreclosure papers, which is sometimes like 45 pages long, just letting you know that you're buying a piece of property from a bank. And they're just trying to cover their butt saying that you're not going to sue them. But I think it's a perfect time to ask people, Dan, pick out somebody in the chat who wants a cup. Put I want a cup. Put I want a cup, and Dan's going to pick out the person.
Who wants cup? Who wants cup?
Who wants a cup? Who wants a cup? This is the 100,000 subscriber cup giveaway. So I have the hardest time going backwards in this thing.
I know. Oh, okay. Trail Reeves is the first one that says he wants a cup.
All right, Trail Reeves, look, in the description of this video is my email information. Email me your address and you are getting a cup. You want a cup. All right, now I'm going to pick out somebody to get a cup. All right, let's see.
Now they're coming in hot with
they want a cup. They want a cup. Vegan Meow. She's asked, I'm assuming it's a she because by the profile picture, she's asked, this person has asked lots of questions. And so, go ahead and like I said, in my description of my video is my email address. Email me your address and I will send you a cup. All right. Your turn, Dan.
Oh, we're
Pick
picking someone else. How
Yeah,
many
we're
of these
picking
cups you
them.
got?
Oh, I have cups. I like big cups, and I cannot.
Okay,
I've got cups.
Who's got a fun name here?
Thank you, DB Douglas.
All right, you already got Seer Guru.
I think I did that first.
What's that?
I did that name first. Sir Gurus,
Okay.
I did first.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
How about CC Moon?
All right, CC Moon. CC
She
Moon
wants
gets a cup.
She wants it pretty, please.
Pretty please. All right, now here we go. Now we've got a question. Here we go. Here, back to the regularly scheduled program. Well, we're gonna give away some more cups in a minute. In a bit. All right. He says, I'm 32 with my parents in Albany, New York. I love my small town. Can practically drive less than 20 minutes. I just hate snow here. Are there any small towns in the down in the south? Albany, New York to the south.
You're gonna have to spearhead this one because I don't know at all.
Well, I know I know the north and the south. So I'm trying to think where I would check out Asheville, North Carolina. Check out Nashville, Tennessee. Check out around Myrtle Beach, that area. I don't know what your career or job is, but look at I like that North Carolina area because you get real seasons, Tennessee as well, and hardly ever any snow. Hardly ever.
Real seasons. What's that like?
Oh, I know. It's so nice. Like right now we're having a moment because it's not excruciating, uncomfortably hot where I'm dying, where you walk outside and you feel like a wet blanket has hit your whole entire body. That's what Louisiana feels like.
Yeah, because it's super muggy, right? Isn't that the thing?
Speaking of muggies.
Hello.
Hello. Look, PR. Email me and you get a mug. Springfield, Louisiana says, howdy. Red Like Wine says, go west. I'm born and raised in the East Louisiana. Oh, I didn't know. I did know that. I take that back. But if you're in a hurricane wipes you out of here. I'll stay away from the East Gulf Coast. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true. Here we go. We got another question. If you're under foreclosure, do you get a notice of eviction? And how many days notice in Los Angeles, California? That is a question for the California guy. Go for it, Dan Packa.
Yeah. I've never dealt with someone directly doing a foreclosure. To be completely honest, I don't know. I know. I've read through this process a lot before, and I know that it can take quite a while, but I think it's usually 30 days, isn't it? That's what the notice is.
I took a webinar and I kind of know something about foreclosures.
I have a fake real estate license. I've never actually.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just dropped all my cups. Did you hear that noise? It was on my cups. Okay. So I can't say for California, but in my specific area, when it comes to your foreclosure process, there is a process that it goes through. So you'll get several notices from your lender saying, like you're 60 days late, you're 90 days late, you're 120 days late. Now we're going ahead and filing foreclosure papers, and then eventually you're given the notice, and then they give you so many days after you've gotten the notice to get out of the house. And they show up during the last housing crash. They will show up, and it doesn't matter if you're there or not. They will take everything out. They change the locks. They kick you out. They throw it out on the street, and they put it in dumpsters, and they throw it all away. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. I wish they would give it away, but they won't. I mean, like there were people that walked away from their houses with full furniture, big screen TVs, and it all went in a dumpster, and they pitched it all.
So crazy.
Well, they didn't want to be liable if it didn't work. They didn't want, or if it had bed bugs or anything like that. I mean, I get what they were doing, but it just made me like physically ill. Question: if all Californians are supposed to be moving out, then who are the people buying homes in California at higher prices?
It's a great question. So
I know.
I think last year was the first year that the population decreased in California. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is people are moving from certain cities to other cities. So in San Diego, for example, we are not seeing a decrease in our population. We're seeing people moving from LA, from San Francisco, from these other areas to San Diego. So I think it goes back to the fact that the population went down a little bit, but there's just so little inventory that there's plenty of people that are out there wanting to buy those homes.
The people that have left California are low wage earners that couldn't afford to live in California any longer.
They were already struggling. Yeah.
They were already struggling. The mass majority of the people that have left California were low income workers, and they've gone to just other places. Now, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people that had a lot of money that sold their house in California and left for Texas. There's going to be a portion of those too. But that's why they're having a hard time filling up their workforce full of people that to like wait tables and all those other like jobs that are low wage earners, because it's so expensive to live in California. Why the hell stay? I mean, I wouldn't work for that kind of money and then have to pay California prices. Get me out of there. I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. So we have 2 more cups. So Dan, you're gonna do, and then once these 2 cups are given away, then the big cup. Big. It says, hold on. California is still the golden state, one of the largest economies in the world, and they will bounce back. Of course they will. I don't even think they bounce.
California's doing all right.
I was gonna say, I don't even think it's falling apart. I guess it depends on who you're talking to. There's some people that are always like, California's like it's terrible. You know, there's always those people that poo-poo on California.
It'll be much better once Meet Kevin is our governor. That's gonna be real nice.
I don't like, if anybody doesn't know, Meet Kevin is he is a real estate investor who has a very large YouTube following, and he is running for governor. He's running for governor.
He's got some interesting things he's saying. And one of the biggest things is he wants to increase housing. And I like that. Let's increase construction. We need it.
Well, he's an investor. Of course he wants more housing.
But I mean, that's what we need.
Question: how long will interest rates stay low? Looking to buy it to the end of the year due to the relocation. The Fed says they're not going to pull them up anytime soon. Which really, I mean, like, what does that mean, really? What's soon? Is it soon like this month? Is soon next month? You know, we're all trying to time the market. But the interest rates are low now. So if you have the ability to get a home right now, I would stay do it, because all those people that waited, and I was guilty of telling people to wait, they are now paying like $100,000 more for a house.
Yeah.
Question: I have a residential lot in San Felipe, Baja California. How is the real estate market in Baja California? Would you know, Dan?
That is a very good question. And I've never dealt with real estate in Baja California, in Mexico.
Dan, I'm gonna bust your chops. You're like, I've been busting your chops all day. You know, Dan just shoots the answers back to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know that the market's crazy down there too, just like it is everywhere, but I don't know the specifics on it.
Yeah, I would, if I were you, I would find a local real estate agent. You know, the best way to do that, if you don't have anybody, is you can contact me. I'm connected with over 4,000 real estate agents throughout the country. Or you can go ahead and make a Facebook post. Just put on your Facebook wall and say, hey, does anybody know a good agent in our area? And then see whose name keeps coming up, you know? Yeah. You know, because you're going to have a million people answer that question, and they're going to tag their real estate agent. But if there's one specific name that always comes up, call that person. Hey, Soul, you want a cup? You
big cup.
You can get a big cup. Go ahead and email me, and I will get you a cup. I will get you a cup. Dan, go ahead and give somebody else a cup.
Who would like a cup? Let's see.
On this
Can we give it to Nards?
Who's Nards? Where's that person?
Nard says, I want the large cup. I use it for soup.
Oh,
Is he allowed to have it if he wants it for soup?
Yes, this person can have the cup. This person can have the cup. And we're I hope everybody's going to be having a super oh, look. Sear just emailed me. The Big Mama, CC Moon wants a Big Mama cup.
Big Mama cup.
All right, not true. Very little response to realtor questions. Crapshoot. What kind of? Throw me a question. The thing is that I normally have somebody that helps me pull up the questions in order, and I'm doing it by myself. So I'm not trying to, uh, I'm not trying to ignore your question by any means of the imagination. It's just hard to look at the camera, listen, look over here at the questions that come up. So I'm trying to catch the questions when I can. I'm not intentionally trying to ignore you, but if you have one, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's a question.
Yeah, and just write the word question and then I'll answer it. I have no problem answering questions. All right, here we go. Can you talk about appraisers lowballing home values for people of color? This is a thing. Okay, this
Tell
is a
us.
yeah, this is a real thing. There's been several news articles that have come out. So what the homeowners were doing in order to increase their value from appraisers, they were removing any items that would have like their family pictures on it, and then they had a neighbor come over to meet the appraiser, and then the house appraised for $100,000 more.
Whoa.
$100,000 more. So it was like, oh, that just sounds like an isolated incident. And sure enough, like down the road in another town, same exact thing. Then it happened in another state. It was like all these stories were coming up. So I don't know how to answer the question of how we fix that, because there's some people that have internal prejudice. I don't know how to fix that. That's a world problem. But it's definitely something that's actually happening. They've had several news articles about it. I think it's freaking horrible.
Yeah.
I think we've like, as much as every time I think we've taken 2 steps forward, then there's something like this that happens that sends us back about 4 steps.
So crazy. Oh my gosh.
It's disgusting. It's honestly disgusting.
Possible. I don't.
I never thought it was possible either, but it happens, and
Yeah.
I don't know why it happens. It just does. Question: I have a house in Oceanside built in 2002. Zillow is currently saying it is worth $650,000. What should I list price starting? Hoping to buy land in Tennessee or Ohio. What's your suggestion there, Dan Packa?
Oceanside, love Oceanside. My first suggestion is just keep in mind that Zillow is just using an algorithm, and so there's a lot of variables that are not coming into that valuation. When I do my listing presentations, I actually have an analysis of all the comparable properties that we're going through and how close they were to their estimate. And sometimes, I mean, they're 10% difference, which in San Diego is a ton of money. So I would say it needs a little bit more analysis on just what the Zestimate is, and I need to know the specific areas, how fast homes are going for in that area, what the demand is, and really craft a campaign around that.
I would suggest, if you're not planning to use a real estate agent, you could still ask for what they call CMA. It literally takes them just a few minutes to plug in the numbers on their system, and that will give you a lot more accurate valuation of your property. And that's what I would do. I just call like 3 agents in the area, ask for a CMA. Then if they say, are you planning on selling right now? Just say, I just want to know if I want to sell. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell or not. Lie. I don't care. It really isn't that much time on their back to go ahead and pull together a CMA. They're not going to your house.
Or
it's just
an
an
email,
estimate.
and I'll do it. I don't care if you're going to sell it yourself. That's totally fine. I'll send you over what info I have.
See, we're
you
not
don't need to
all
lie to me.
Yeah. she says, Red Like Wine says, Christina, you're in rare form today. What's in that mug you're drinking? My mug is empty. I'm so disappointed, but I always drink hot tea. If anybody knows anything about me and they've been around me for a short period of time, knows the only thing I drink all day long is hot tea. That's it. Hot tea. Love it. All right. Can you talk about the climate migration moving from northern areas due to the climate change, heating up areas closer to the equator? I would be lying out of my teeth if I told you I knew much about climate migration.
I can make something up real quick.
No, I won't. I won't do that. But Terry, that is it. That is a very good question, Terry. I'm not going to lie, but I would be making up. I would be making up word salad to make myself sound good. Which a lot of people do on live streams, but I won't.
And I see Logic 1611. You're throwing some more info in here. Just shoot me an email and give me your address, and I'll send you over more info. Just knowing the comparables.
What's your email address?
Price. Dan at bestlifesandiego.com.
Yeah, that would help. They don't
Yeah.
know. They don't
Yeah.
know. Dan Park. Yeah, Dan, what's your YouTube channel too, so they know that?
Yeah, just type in Dan Parker San Diego, and then I'll pop up on YouTube, and follow me on Instagram, Dan Parker _ San Diego.
Don't get all crazy and start giving all your stuff away. Like promoting yourself. Good Lord,
You
Dan.
are in rare form today, Kristina. Jeez.
It's because
I need a mug over here.
Yeah, that's because I have 100,000 subscribers now. I'm all like too big for my britches.
Fair.
I live in Northern Virginia. Should I wait to buy a house? If so, how long should I wait? You're gonna have to talk to your real estate professional in that specific area and talk about your budget, and then decide it. You're gonna have to weigh out the pros and cons right now. This is what I tell people all the time. What are the pros and cons in waiting? So you're gonna make a list, and if you and your husband have your husband sit in one room and you sit in the other room and figure out the advantages of moving right now and the advantages of waiting, and just weigh those out afterwards, and really figure out your budget too, and how much are you willing to get into this specific market. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not for sissies. Be prepared to lose not one house, not two houses, but 11 houses before you get the one that actually accepts your offer. So, find out if you're mentally prepared to do that kind of thing. There's not one straight answer that I could give you. It's going to be individually based on if you can do it right now. Handle it. Ooh, look at this. Huh, I got a super chat. How do I put this?
Oh, dang.
I got a $20 super chat. We purchased our home a little over 2 years ago. It would be 3 years in December. If we sold our house, we will hit a capital gains tax. Also, will we have to pay tax on this sale? Are you planning on selling it and buying something else? And I believe capital gains is 2 years. Is that correct, Dan?
Yeah, capital gains exemption is 2 years and
Right.
$250,000 per individual, or $500,000 for a married couple.
There you go. Yeah, I thought
two out of the last 5 years you have to live in the property.
Thank you,
So you
RD
should be
Mama.
See, I know some things, Kristina.
I'm so proud of you, Dan. I'm so proud of you. We finally squeezed out some good information.
I just Googled that real quick. Just nobody knows.
Oh, okay, good call. Do you think that with increasing number of vaccinated people, more houses will be put on the market because job demands will demand employees to come back? Well, that's the hope. That is the hope. That's what we're all hoping for. So there's only so much we can do. I thought honestly, as we headed into Memorial Day, I thought I was going to see more houses up for sale, and we are not seeing that. I don't know if you are in your area. We are not seeing poop, and it's very, very, very frustrating. Very frustrating.
Yeah, in San Diego, in California, everything kind of goes back to normal on June 15th. So we'll see if that has any effect here. I think a lot of people that were waiting to sell their home because of the pandemic are now waiting to sell their home because they're afraid to buy a house. So I think there's a lot of overlap in those two things.
Yes. One of my lights went out, so I'm trying to
Yeah, I noticed it kind of got dark over there. That's why I was trying to fill the airspace.
Yeah, I know. Now I look like I have a little bit of jaundice. Need to get my liver checked, but whatever. All right. Question. Can you do an analysis for Farmington, New Mexico in the future? Why is this town the only town in New Mexico depreciating in home prices? That would be an individual question to a, you know what you can do, DJ? I do have a national CMA system. I don't know how accurate that is, but in order to find out what's actually going on in that market, you're going to have to talk to an agent specifically in that area. But I can find you one if you want me to. You can email me at info@KristinaSmallhorn.com, and then I'll find you a agent in that specific area so they can answer your question on why the home values are depreciating. One area in California that's depreciating, do you know where that is, Dan?
Mm-mm. It's not San Diego.
Beach. Nope, Venice Beach.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know why? Increased homeless.
Oh yeah,
They have and it keeps growing.
Like I know the very densely populated areas, like in the city of San Francisco, condos and attached properties, there's more on the market and they're actually going down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Question, just installed a new AC and water heater and a new roof through the association and partial attic insulation. What amount would these have an ROI? I'm preparing to sell. You're going to answer that, Dan?
Well,
That's an appraiser question.
Yeah, it varies. It definitely varies. It's going to be individualized for your specific property and how important those things are for your area. So some places HVAC is important, some places it's not.
Well, but anytime you add or upgrade a AC, water heater, HVAC system, that's always going to increase the value. The amount it's going to increase is going to vary per city and area and town and everything else. Like it would increase like $10,000 here to have a whole brand new HVAC system throughout the whole entire home. But in San Diego, it would be $30,000 or maybe nothing because you guys have acclimate weather. Look at DJ giving me a $4.99 super chat.
That's nice. Dang.
Yeah, just like, look at DJ. Thank you so much. Venice, really? Wow. Yes. Homeless crisis. Correct. Question. I live rent in my family home. Should I wait to buy? I'm currently living in Northern Virginia, DAB. Are you like dab on?
I know that's
that's the only thing I can do is dab. I'm really probably showing my boomerness, but anyways, I would, if it was me, go speak to a lender first, a trusted lender. Speak to them and talk about your financial situation and see if you are able to purchase a home, how much you can purchase a home for. And then I would talk to a local real estate agent and ask if they have any homes in that area in your price range. That's the only way I can tell you if you should or shouldn't. It's more of advice on how to get that done than if you should or you shouldn't, because you'll be able to evaluate that once you speak to those people.
Or at least do the lender part first and then look on Redfin or Zillow and see what prices homes are going for.
Oh man. Am
I not allowed to say those on this channel?
Yeah, no, you can say whatever you want, Dan, but man, throw us under the bus.
Tools. They're tools that you can use. You just have
they're so inaccurate. You know what? I'm going to tell you guys what
homes for sale
in my specific area.
Yeah,
I could have had a listing that had sold 6 months ago, and I'm still getting phone calls. Hey, I can't find it on the MLS, but it's still, that my clients are calling me about this because they found it on the internet. I'm like, that has closed. It's closed in the MLS. I don't know why it keeps popping up.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because you know why they're doing it? They don't have enough listings on their website to get people clicking. So they're just pulling old listings and throwing them up there just to. Question, is it true that a lot of sellers are not wanting to accept VA loan offers? Yes, in my area it is. Is it true to your area?
Unfortunately, 100%. I would say it really is more so a fact that they want as close to a cash offer as possible. And if the VA offers that are coming in are 5% down or 0% down and they don't have a lot of money in the bank, then that's a more risky offer in the eyes of the seller.
Exactly. And we have these things called RD loans too. It's very similar to a rural development loan or farm loan, whatever you want to call it. Very similar to VA loans. Most of these people need like buyer closing costs and assistance. And they're like, well, why would we take this when we get, $10,000 cash over and they're waiving appraisals, which you can't waive an appraisal on a VA loan. It's impossible. So, look at Seer Guru. Congratulations on 100,000. Beautiful. Great job. It sounds better if I sing it.
So I just had I have buyers in escrow right now that found me on YouTube. They are VA buyers and we waived the appraisal and they're paying $50,000 over the appraisal amount.
The VA allowed them to waive appraisal?
So it's, obviously it's a little bit of a weird gray area. The lender can still approve the loan and get it through with them paying over the appraisal amount.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that is new to me. Brand new.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just California thing or what, but.
I don't know. Nell says, question. This is a question for Kristina.
Oh, you're Kristina with a C today.
Yeah, but it's Kristina. It's still Kristina. However they want to spell it. I've been called a hell of a lot worse. I'm looking to buy. I'm looking to buy a 1 acre or less residential lot in a subdivision that is gated in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. What's the question? Just email me if you want to find some lots that are an acre in or more. There's a really cool subdivision that is over by Azalea Lakes. They have like, oh my God, it's so pretty. They had some pretty lots out there, but I don't know what your price tag is. Just email me. We'll talk.
Can you pull up Debbie Brady's question? Or it's not even a question. So I'm just curious your thoughts on this.
The thing is that it won't matter what the damn thing appraises for. People are still willing to pay what is overage. I had a girl that actually gave up her 401k, cashed the sucker out to pay the overage because it didn't appraise. She didn't care. She wanted the house. And the thing is I was just like, I was sweating bullets for her. I'm like, I can't believe she did this. That house that she bought for $234 is now worth $285. She's already won. She's already earned the money back, which I'd never in a million years thought. I get what you're saying, but even the appraisals can't keep up with how much houses have increased because people are paying over. What's your thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, I agree. I think there's just certain markets like my market, you're gonna have a heck of a time getting offer accepted if you aren't waiving appraisal. So it's just gonna basically price you out. But I agree with what you're saying, Kristina, of like if the appraiser is using a comparable properties that sold a month ago, then that means that offer was accepted 2 months ago, and they're comparing it with your property that you're purchasing today. Well, the market's gone up 26% in the last year, so it's not even comparable anymore. We're already up above that. So, as a buyer, I mean, you can have a pretty good sense as a buyer as to where the market's going and where it's currently at, but the appraisals don't always come in at that price. So it's a risk that you kind of have to take in this market that I'm in.
Yep. And that's all true of everywhere. When the agents require you to sign something in order to provide a service such as a CMA? No. And if they do, find another one. I mean, literally it takes just a few minutes and a computer screen of their time to do it. And if they're requiring to sign something, move on.
Like 100%.
Yeah. All right. A day Royale says, I lost a home in Dallas, Texas, because I had a VA loan and they came back and wanted to waiver. The lender told me that if I wanted to go over, I would have to pay the difference. I said no. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are having to do. But then they're losing out on homes, and then they're waiting even longer. And then the houses go up and more. And then they're like, I should have not waited. So it's kind of like this a never ending roller coaster.
Yeah.
Edie and I are now friends on the Facebook. He's made friends with me on the Facebook recently. Question: why do people think that paying 10% is too high over market value when everything else in housing is going up in price? It makes sense to me. What do y'all say? What's your opinion, Mr. Dan Packer?
Well, Mr. Parker here says, what do I say? So they're saying that.
Why whine about an extra 10%?
Yeah, it's tough because 10% in San Diego is going to be close to $100,000. It's a lot of money. So I totally understand both sides of that. I think it goes back to what you're saying, Kristina. It's what can you actually afford, and like how motivated are you to purchase property right now, and does it fit into what's important to you? And if it does, then sure, the 10% or the 5% or the 8% or whatever you end up having to go in over asking to secure the property of your dreams, it may or may not be worth it, but it's very subjective.
Boiled nuts. This is one of my longtime subscribers. Love this. Congratulations on 100K subs, girl. You rock. That was my awesome singing voice. Don't you love that?
I love it.
Does the overappraisal price then become a standard for the new comps? Yes, it does. but they're still averaged out. So even if that house sold for $100,000 more, but the other ones in the neighborhood only sold for $50,000 more, that's averaged out, and that's the new comp for the area.
Here's one of the weird things is when you have properties that are in escrow in the area that would be a perfect comparable property, and you can, for me, I'll call up the agent and figure out where they're at. So if they're $100,000 over the asking price, the appraiser actually can't take that into account. But you as the buyer know that very soon there's going to be comparable properties that close that will be right where you're trying to buy your house at. So I don't know. It's one of those interesting things.
We are creeping up over the hour, and I've given away all the small cups. There's only the big cup left for the
big cup.
The big cup for the 100,000 subscribers. If you want a cup, this cup, not this actual cup, I'm going to be sending you one that looks exactly like this. This is the one my husband gave me. He would murder me if I gave this one away, but I'm going to send you one of these cups. I want you to put in the chat. This is the last thing we're doing is giving away a cup for the 100,000 subscribers. Who wants the big bowl cup? Put it in the chat, and we're going to pick a name. We're going to pick a name. This is the last thing we're doing for the 100,000. Here we go. All right. Oh, that's a lot of coffee. All right, Lewis. That's it. Lewis gets the cup. All you have to do is send me your email address. You're gonna have to email me, Lewis, and say that you won the big cup. You won the big cup, Lewis. Dan Parker, I want to thank you, and thank you for letting me bust your chops this whole entire stream. You're always a good sport.
Anytime.
Anytime. Everybody, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget all your veterans. This time of year is very important. And if you haven't thought about it, if you have a little extra cash, just go ahead and give to the veterans funds that you want to. All the homeless veterans throughout the country. There's a lot of them, over 47,000 homeless veterans. That should never happen. So if you have a little extra cash during this time, consider giving a little bit to them. Thank you, Dan. And thank you, everybody. And have a fantastic weekend. Say goodbye. We're going to do this because it takes a second for this thing to